New York is the city that never sleeps, and neither does Sal Licata. From Flushing in the Bronx to the Meadowlands and MSG, Sal sounds off on the biggest sports news of the day. Welcome to WFAN Daily with Sal Licata.
What's going on? It is not Sal Licata. It's Pete Hoffman filling in for the one, the only Sal Licata. And as you can see, I just returned from the New York Mets game, and that was terrible. But let's start with the good news. Let's start with the New York Yankees as they continue to just crush the entire baseball league. They are dominating in ways where we've seen in the past, and then they get to the playoffs and they just crap the bed. Maybe it's the fact that I just spent 3 hours in Citi Field at a game that was just toxic and frustrating that I'm not in this cheery, chippy mood to sit here and placate to New York Yankees as they continue to dominate another season. Let's be honest. Have we seen this story before by the New York Yankees? Yes. We've seen this many times for many years. And guess what? It means absolutely nothing if you can't win in the playoffs, if you can't get to a World Series. And that's where I feel right now with this team. You can enjoy the season, but how many times, honestly, how many times have Yankee fans gotten to enjoy a regular season? I feel like it's every year. I feel like every year we're talking about something else special going on. Aaron Judge just broke the record for home runs in the American League not too long ago, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but I think in 2022, I'm pretty sure that he put up a season of 62 home runs, and it was incredible. And we've seen Garrett Cole have Cy Young years, and young kids like Anthony Volpe come up and shine. And we've seen now Juan Soto join this team and help shine. But in the end, what always happens? Since 2010, the New York Yankees get to the playoffs and nothing. And that has to change. And that is one thing that I think we could all agree upon. You can enjoy the season, marinate in this, amazing, glorifying year where you're kicking the crap out of a very awful baseball league. Let's be serious. That's what it is right now. Across the entire, whether it's American League or National League, there's some awful baseball going on right now. You look up and down these teams, these franchises, there are well more worse teams than good teams. I understand that they're more in the NL, it's worse than the AL, but overall, there's not a lot of good baseball. I know Kansas City's having a better season, but that's where we're at right now. We're looking at Kansas City Royals having a better season than most other teams because it is just bad baseball. So, yeah, the Yankees are at the top of it. Good for you guys. But guess what? There's no more of going to the playoffs and, scraping by, beating up on a bad Minnesota Twins team. Good. What does that do for you? There's no more, getting to the divisional game, getting to the conference finals, getting to, the AL final. You have to get to the World Series and you have to win. Like there's nothing else. But because you can sit there and say, "Oh, this season was so awesome. We got to watch Aaron Judge just be a monster at the plate. We've seen a resurgence of Giancarlo Stanton. That's amazing. That's so great." Carlos Rodon is turning into a Cy Young candidate along with Luis Hill. You basically are going to have, once Garrett Cole comes back, you're going to have a three-headed monster where it's like, oh, who's the best? Who's the best starting pitcher on this team? Let me think. Is it Cole? Is it Hill? Is it Rodon? Guess what? In the playoffs, if they do nothing, if they are back to their normal, and I'm not going to say crappy ways because Rodon hasn't really pitched in the playoffs. And when he has, yes, he's been crappy. Cole's been okay. Hill's never had an opportunity. So I have no idea how they're going to perform in the playoffs. But that's the point. how are they going to perform on the biggest stage? If you want to take a small glimpse of the season so far, what they've done on the biggest stage, they just had a Dodgers series. Yes, they were missing Juan Soto, but it didn't turn out very well. It wasn't all that great. They won one game. They won a Sunday night game. Whoopity freaking do. They didn't play well versus the Dodgers. We've seen them not do well against the Orioles. We've seen them struggle against good teams. Good teams they've struggled against. They've done really great against bad teams. Guess what? I mean, that's baseball. You have to beat who's in front of you. The Yankees do it very well. When they're playing a bad team, they find ways to just pummel them. And they do the right thing. But what does it mean when you get to the playoffs? Nothing. It's got to change. It has to. And you're talking about one of the bigger culprits is Aaron Judge. I saw, I love my boy Keith McPherson. He's fantastic. I saw him the other day. He was putting up the rankings of Aaron Judge and how he's up at first of everything. Everything in the world, Aaron Judge is number one in everything. And then in big, quotes, he's like, but let me see his playoff numbers. What does he do in the playoffs? I'm sorry, but that's reality. Like, how can you sit here and talk about how unbelievable this team is, and then when the playoffs come around, that's the most important thing. Like, we play the regular season to flex the muscles, to be all cool, like to have amazing moments, to build camaraderie, to show off and say how good we are. The playoffs are the most important part of the season. Like, whatever happened in the regular season means nothing if you can't win the playoffs, if you can't win the World Series, okay? It's just how it goes. So explain to me how he could be first place in everything, but yet when it comes down to the playoffs, Aaron Judge being absent means nothing. I think it means a hell of a lot more. Yes, you're facing tougher competition because these are good teams, or hopefully supposedly good teams. So yeah, I maybe just watching the Mets for hours, destroys my mind frame and makes everything negative. But for crying out loud, the Yankees are having an amazing season. I think we all know it. I think we all see it. It's going to be record breaking again. I mean, Aaron Judge is going to break records. Juan Soto and him are going to be the next, Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, you name it. It's going to go down a laundry list of all these amazing players that we've seen over the years have worn the pinstripes. I mean, some people said, David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez. You can go up and down the entire league about the best combos of sports. Juan Soto and Aaron Judge is going to be that. Giancarlo Stanton's going to is having a bounce back year. Then we're going to have, like I said, the three-headed monster between Cole, Heel, and Rodon. Oh my God, who are you going to go with in game one? Doesn't mean a thing unless you win the World Series. That's it. End of story. So enjoy it. Enjoy the moments, because guess what? Mets fans remember 2022. That wasn't that long ago for us. We won 101 games. Meant nothing in the playoffs. It meant absolutely nothing. And I'm sorry, but it's not like hasn't been reality for the Yankees for a long time too. If I'm correct, you won a World Series. The last time you were in a World Series was 2009, and you happen to win it, but that's the last time you were in it. It's going on a long time. It's going on 15 years, okay? It's not like you were just sniffing the World Series last year. You weren't even in the playoffs last year. So all this season is amazing. Go win a World Series. Win a championship for New York. Like, I'm actually begging you to. Like, that's what I want to see happen. I'm tired. I say it all the time. I'm tired of New York not winning. Like, I'm tired of seeing the New York Rangers having the best record in hockey, and they going out there and losing 6 games to the Florida Panthers, who are probably going to win the Stanley Cup. We missed an opportunity. The Florida Panthers are going to win the Stanley Cup. That should have been the Rangers. The New York Knicks, yeah, I know there's a lot of injuries, but still, they were second seed. Like, they had a great season. They should have beat the Pacers. Would they have beaten the Celtics? Who knows? Probably not. But point is, Celtics are going to win the NBA Finals. That could have been the Knicks. I'm tired of seeing what could have happened. I want it to happen. So let the Yankees go win the World Series. I'm all good with that. Let's bring a championship to New York. We need to celebrate something, for crying out loud. Seriously. Like I'm tired of watching these great teams go out there and not be great in the biggest moments. That to me is, we love sports, but that is what's killing me right now. Speaking of what's killing me right now, the New York Mets. Listen, I'm still trying to be as optimistic as possible, but you cannot go through a game like today. You cannot return from crappy old London to play a game versus the second to worst team in the league in the Miami Marlins, who basically did nothing, but it looked like it was a pitching duel. It would look like a freaking pitching duel between Luzardo and Tyler McGill. Meanwhile, McGill barely got through 5 innings, and Luzardo, I don't remember how long he went, but the Mets just don't hit. It doesn't make a difference who it is, when it is. I'm trying to sit here and give Lindor a pass. Like, he crushed a ball. Guys are running, scoring position first and third. He smokes a ball to left field. I forget who it was in left field. Makes a diving catch to end the inning and saves a couple runs. I mean, who knows? That probably could have been a triple. No inside the park, but if the ball gets by, definitely a triple by Lindor. It's probably a 2-run triple right there. And instead, it's an out. And the Mets only have a 2-1 lead at that point in time in the game. And then, of course, when it comes down to the Mets doing something defensively, this baseball is a game of inches. That's really what it comes down to. I think it was Jazz Chisholm. No, it wasn't Jazz, because he was on second base. He didn't score, or he was on first base. He didn't score in this play. So I forgot, it was the Dela Cruz, I think it was, smokes a ball to left center field, and Nimmo and freaking Harrison Bader are running for it. And Harrison Bader is one of the best defensive center fielders in the league. I don't care what you want to say. He could track down any baseball, and he did. He had this ball lined up, and then all of a sudden, out of freaking nowhere, Brandon Nimmo pops up, and Harrison Bader kind of like does a double take and takes his eye off the ball, misses the ball, tries to avoid Nimmo, and runs and basically slides headfirst into the wall. This all could have been avoided, and he would have caught the ball if Nimmo just backed away. I don't think people realize this. Brandon Nimmo is not a great outfielder. He's not. I know he made a catch to help save Jacob deGrom back in the day, a couple of years ago at Citi Field, and everyone popped champagne and celebrated like it was the World Series. Yeah, it was amazing. Did you see his reaction? He caught it, goes, I got the ball in my hand. Are you kidding me? That's Brandon Nimmo in a nutshell. He's not very good. He just runs really fast, runs really hard, and we all cheer and get excited about it. But he's unproductive this year, and defensively, he's a liability. And here's it is in a nutshell. Harrison Bader played this ball perfectly. Even though it was an impossible catch to make, he actually was about to make it. And then Nimmo says, I'm over here now. And then we screw up. It was gut-wrenching. It was so frustrating. And then that's basically the game right there. And then, obviously, in the 9th inning, why not bring in Adam Ottavino just to give up another run? Because why not? All right, so here we go. The Mets are terrible. There's still a possibility of a crazy run coming, sure. And I do trust David Stearns to figure this thing out. But this is what needs to happen now, because we should go through a checklist every week of who we want to cut. So these are my top 3 players right now who need to be cut from the New York Mets, to be DFA, to be traded, however you want to do it. I don't really care, but I'd like them to be off the team by the end of this week. So David Stearns, Steve Cohen, if you're listening, let's try to make this happen as soon as possible. Number 1. Let's go to the bench player, the guy who hasn't done anything in a long time. I know he's a spirited old fellow who had a great September last year, and we all talked about how he was really a great, positive energy type of player who added a little spunk to the team last year. Deserved to make the roster, could be a 4th outfielder. That is DJ Stewart. He does absolutely nothing. He pinch hit today. He got a walk, thankfully, and then they pull him because they need a pinch runner. He doesn't do anything. He's basically Daniel Vogelback who swings the bat. That's it. He doesn't do enough. It is time to move on. He's could be a leader. I see him talking to all the players. All the bench players seem to like him, or all the players seem to like him. He gets in the mix. He wants to be active. He wants to be talkative. I understand he's not going to get a lot of at-bats. So then what the hell is he doing here? Get him out of here and get somebody else that's more productive that we can use. So that's number one, DJ Stewart, off the team. Number two, Adam Ottavino. I love you, but the time is run out here in New York. There is no use for you. Your ERA has ballooned to 6. And if we're cutting guys like Joey Wendell and Omar Narvaez, we can cut ties with Adam Ottavino. Now, I do like him. Listen, he's had his moments, ups and downs, but the downs are heavy these days. He can't be trusted. And Evan always talks about this. Evan Roberts always talks about this. Who is in the the wheelhouse of trust? There is nobody. And when we give the ball to Adam Ottavino in a big spot now, it goes bad really quick. He can't hold a lead. He can't hold a one-run, being down by 1 run. He can't hold crap. There is no need for Adam Ottavino, so trade him, DFA him. I think it's $4.5 million he's making this year, whatever it is. Let's move on from the one and only Adam Ottavino. And then obviously the one that we've all talked about for a long time, so DJ Stewart, Adam Ottavino, and Jeff McNeil. We all know Jeff McNeil needs to get out of here sooner than later. He comes up today. Now I can't tell if I'm pissed at Carlos Mendoza because Jeff McNeil comes in to pinch hit and they announce him, and then all of a sudden, the Marlins go to the left-handed pitcher to face Jeff McNeil. Jeff McNeil can't hit anybody, but he definitely can't hit left-handed pitching. So why are we leaving him in for this? Like, we are actually at a critical point in this ball game where we need a base hit. Why are we letting Jeff McNeil bat? Like, can anybody, especially against a left-hander? Like, we literally sat him days in a row versus left-handers because he can't hit left-handers. So we're going to allow him to pinch hit versus a left-hander? Like, bring off Torrens off the bench. Like, I don't care. Screw it. Who cares if we have a catcher? Go out there and at least give a productive bat. Jeff McNeil does not do it anymore. And so I can't all put it on McNeil because Mendoza allowed that to happen. But we need to cut ties. So David Stearns, Steve Cohen, whoever it is that's listening right now in the Mets brass, it's got to be Jeff McNeil, Adam Ottavino, DJ Stewart. Those 3 in a package. Ship them out. Say goodbye. We've had enough. No more of your awful presence, whether it's on the pitching, whether it's hitting. You do nothing. You haven't done anything in a month. It's time to move on. It's been a really bad month. Maybe it's because of players like these. Now, listen, they're not the only ones that are suffering. Go up and down the lineup. It's just, it is beginning to be pathetic. Obviously, Francisco Alvarez comes back, so there was a little juice there, but he didn't do anything today. I mean, it was what it was. I'm always going to sit here and try to defend Alonso and Lindor because I think not that we put too much pressure on them. I think they're getting a bulk of all the blame. They're getting all the blame because why? Because they're the ones that are making the money or going to make the money. So we just put the blame on them. But it's everybody. It really is everybody. You go up and down, like Nimmo eventually is going to be on the shopping block. Like we have 3 guys right now. I'm going to do 3 guys every week of who the Mets need to get rid of. Once those 3 guys are done, Nimmo's next up, dude. Like I've been saying this forever. I know people love him. He's a fan favorite, but Brandon Nimmo adds absolutely nothing to this team anymore. He doesn't. He was never a leadoff hitter. He's not a cleanup hitter. He's a late back end, and I understand it. When the Mets signed him, he was a top quote unquote outfielder in the league, top center fielder in the league. But that's just proving that baseball players are not going to free agency like they used to. There's no one available that's going to free agency because people are signing guys sooner. So you have to start growing your own talent, or you have to trade for players. You can't go and sign the free agents. And the Mets signed free agents. And what they did was they allowed Billy Epler to be stupid, to be monopoly crazy. Here's some cash. Go do what you got to do. Just fill a roster, and he did that. And that has backfired. I still trust David Stearns to get it right, but maybe my thought process of this will turn around quicker than later. Maybe that's got to change a little bit because they're very far behind. I mean, they're going to turn over this roster really quick, and there's still nothing left. I mean, I keep on saying it. They may go to this farm system, and again, Billy Epler, what did he do in L.A. with the Angels? He failed. So the fact that he brought in a bunch of prospects last year at the deadline, they may not be good. They may be shipped out sooner than later too. So don't be shocked by that. All right. Listen, enough of the negativity. I'm happy for the Yankees fans. What an amazing regular season you guys are having. Enjoy it. Enjoy the Judge home runs. Enjoy, Stanton just crushing bombs like he used to. Enjoy every pitcher pitching like they've never, like they're all Cy Youngs. It's amazing. You tip the cap to the Yankee fans. You should be, in heaven, marinate in this Yankee season because, it only comes every year for you guys. That being said, good luck in the playoffs. That's what you need the most. But if you want to listen, again, all I care about is bringing a championship. If you guys can't do that, then the rest of it means nothing. All right. Anything else? Did we miss anything else? Robert Saleh, the worst coach in the history of the NFL? No, that hasn't happened just yet. They haven't played a game yet. But Joe Douglas, he's fighting for the worst GM job of all time. Guy keeps on swinging and missing with some big names, and I'm tired of watching that crap. So we'll see what happens with Hassan Reddick. I mean, dude, if the guy holds out and doesn't play week 1, you can't make it up. You cannot make it up. All right. That's it. Thank you very much for watching, subscribing, listening to another episode of WFAN Daily. This is Pete Hoffman filling in for Sal Licata. And I'm sure we'll be back tomorrow with more stuff. Don't forget, you always follow me at Hoff WFAN. Also be back with the boys tomorrow. As actually, I think Sal's off tomorrow, but regardless, tune into BT and Sal Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Be right back tomorrow. Thank you again for watching and venting with me. See ya.